Hello dear students, welcome to Pen and Paper Chemistry. The topic that we are taking up in this video is the VSEPR theory as requested by one of the subscribers. VSEPR theory, when elaborated, stands for valence, shell, electron, pair, repulsion theory, which was given by Sidgwick and Powell in 1940 but was later improvised and developed further in 1957 by Neom and Gillespie. Okay, that's quite a lot of history. So let me cut short and make it very simple for you to understand this theory. We are taking the case of the formation of water molecule according to the Lewis concept. So first of all, writing the electronic configuration of oxygen, hydrogen atomic number 1, so electronic configuration 1, simple one. We are not doing in terms of orbitals and sublevels. By the way, this particular video is targeted for students pursuing their 11th and 12th in any curriculum. 9th and 10th class students, please excuse. Okay. Oxygen atomic number 8, we go on now. Oxygen has got 6 electrons in its valence shell, and valence shell is the outermost shell. The number of electrons in the outermost shell are known as the valence electrons. Come to hydrogen, valence shell is the first one. The number of electrons in the valence shell is 1, so it has 1 valence electron, right? Hydrogen comes to oxygen, boss, I need your help. I need to complete my duplet. Would you like to make friends with me? Oxygen says, why not? I also need 2 electrons. We can be friends very well, okay? So oxygen goes to his family and says, hey guys, there's this hydrogen who needs 2 electrons. I want volunteers. Good, there we have. One volunteer forms a bond with the hydrogen atom. Another volunteer forms a bond with the hydrogen atom. So these are our good electrons. They are happy to form bond. They are happy to help in completing the duplet of hydrogen. What about the other 4 electrons? Oh, they are the loner types. They don't want to mingle with anybody. They just want to be on their own. With oxygen, they just don't want to befriend anybody. Now this is what we've drawn is the Lewis structure of water. Does this structure by any chance indicate to us what is the exact shape of the water molecule? It could be anything. This is just a matter of chance. I have seen students drawing the structure of water like this as well. You could have drawn it like this, right? There's nothing wrong in drawing the Lewis structure of water like this. It could be any shape. So, Lewis structures when drawn do not talk about the shape of the molecule. So we needed a theory in order to define or describe the geometry of a molecule, and that is why this theory, the VSEPR theory, was proposed. We are going to use the Lewis structures only in order to explain the VSEPR theory. This set of electrons which are happy to form friendship with each other, which are happy to form a bond with each other, are known as the bond pair of electrons. These bond pair of electrons are being controlled by 2 nuclei, the nuclei of oxygen and the nuclei of hydrogen, the nucleus. So we've got this electron and this electron lying in between the nucleus of oxygen and hydrogen, and it is being influenced by the nucleus of both of them. Similarly for this bond pair as well. What about the loners? who don't want to participate in bond formation. We need to give them a name as well. Okay, so they are loners, right? Let's call them the lone pair. Now this lone pair, you see, it's very, very grumpy, because first of all it's not ready to form a bond, and it's like, I am left alone, so I'm going to trouble the others. And that is the very crux of the VSEPR theory, that as long as an atom has only bond pair of electrons, it will be a happy family and the atoms will happily accommodate each other. But come in the lone pair of electrons, they start pushing and they start nudging the other atoms. Oh, come on, you're the bond pair, move out from here, make space for us. We are the boss around. So start bossing around. With the result, what will happen is the shape becomes distorted. Now, to what extent the shape gets distorted is what we have to study. How many lone pairs will have what kind of effect is what is clearly stated according to the VSEPR theory. The geometry of the molecule, the shape or the geometry of the molecule is decided by the bond pairs as well as the lone pair of the electrons. So, would you like to note all this down? It will be very handy for you when you are offline and your mobiles are taken away and you don't have access to YouTube, right? You'll need something handy. Why don't you note this down? These will become your notes as well. Because here I have written down all the points for you. Why did we need this theory? As I said earlier, because the Lewis structure is unable to tell us about the shape or geometry of the molecule. It tells us, yes, that there is sharing, there is transfer, but it doesn't tell us anything about the shape or the geometry. What are the main postulates? Now, here I would like you to refer to your curriculum textbook. In your notes that you are making now, please write down the points from there and your notes will be complete. They will be a ready reckoner at the time of examinations. Then you don't have to flip through books, this, that, where did I do this, where did I draw the structures. All your things compiled in one place. What does the main postulates? It's the electron repulsion, repulsion between the pairs of electrons which are present in the valence shell. Simple. That is what decides the shape or geometry of a molecule. This theory says that we've got two types of electrons, the bond pair of electrons and the lone pair of electrons. The bond pair of electrons is under the influence of two nuclei and there is less fighting between them or less repulsion between them because they have two nuclei to go around. Non-bonded or lone pair, they are only under the influence of one nucleus. So more infighting between them. Yes, I've written here. Empty mind is a devil's workshop. You make them sit idle, they'll create trouble. Electrons will place themselves far apart so there is minimum fighting or minimum repulsion between them. And the most important thing, how do you decide which one would be the central atom? We've got oxygen and hydrogen, right? Which one is the central atom? Usually it is the least electronegative atom which will be the central atom. Now please write down the postulates of the VSEPR theory in your notebook. You can refer to your textbook and to continue watching the video further, please pause the video, get some Play-Doh, get some pencils. They may be colored pencils or non-colored pencils, good enough. If you do not have Play-Doh, go to the kitchen, get some kneaded dough. Atta with which you make rotis, right? So some dough you get, simple. And some colored pencils or some colored straws if you can lay your hands, or anything else, any other ideas that you may come across. You're most welcome to share your ideas in the comment section in case you have anyway. Because we are going to talk about, first of all, a family wherein there are only bond pair of electrons, and bond pair of electrons means it's a regular geometry. In other words, this is a family where there is no infighting and they will keep on accommodating each other by staying far away from each other and without bothering each other. And I can promise you that you will not feel the need to read this topic again once you try looking at the structures yourself with the help of these extra things that you may find around to explain it to yourself. So ready to go? So before we go on and talk about structures and everything, you will help me. So you've got your Play-Doh ready, turn it into a ball and this becomes your central atom, right? Now what you've got to do is, our main target is to keep the family intact and happy so that there is minimum infighting between them. I'm taking the first case where what you've got is, you've got one atom and there are two atoms surrounding it. Mainly you've got two bond pairs. How will you arrange them? So I've got the central atom and this side is our second atom. And I've got the third atom. For example, let's say we've got BeF2, beryllium fluoride. Go ahead. Arrange them so that they are maximum distance apart from each other. You see over here? What is this shape? This shape is linear. Very correct. What will be the bond angle? The angle between the bonds. This would be 180 degrees. Now I'm not talking about specific examples over here. Let's go on. Now I've got a molecule, let's say X, Y, or AB. We've done AB2, now we've got AB3. So I've got the central atom and I have to arrange three atoms around it so that they are maximum distance apart from each other. Again, spread them out. What shape does this make? Now, you are going to take the shape according to the atoms. Now, these are your atoms. So, atom A, B, C over here. Join them. It forms a triangle. It's in the same plane. So, trigonal planar. What about the bond angle? We've got the bond angle as, very correct, it is 120 degrees. Sum of angles around a point is 360. Divided by 3 gives you 120. Now come to a case where we have AB4. That means instead of 3 atoms or 3 bond pairs, I've got 4 bond pairs. Methane, common example. Now I have to arrange it. Okay. So if I arrange it like this, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right. Now here the bond angle would come to everywhere 90 degrees. Correct. But we are forgetting something. We are talking about a three-dimensional region in space. So that means I can spread out my atoms or the bond pairs in a 3D space. With the result, we will now have, yes, it's called tetrahedral. So we've got one atom over here, one atom coming out of the plane of the paper, or let's say it is towards you. This one is towards me, and there's one going towards the wall, right? So this becomes a three-dimensional structure, a tetrahedral structure, and yes, the bond angle. This comes out as 109 degrees 28 minutes, right? Clear till now? Would you, I think in your best interest and for your good only, try making these structures yourself with the help of Play-Doh and some colored pencils. Grab hold of them. Now, because we are now next moving on to, we've done AB4, AB5. Now I have 5 atoms to connect. If I have to connect 5 atoms and I try to squish it around, now what will happen? Oh, this is some kind of a muddle, right? They're coming too close. Let's try and fit them in. Does it make sense like that? No, again, if you notice, 90 degrees is too short. Okay, he says, okay, don't worry. I'll move out from here and I can place myself over here. Look at that. Look. Wonderful arrangement. What a sensible family it is. So each one of them has a bond angle here. This one is bond angle is 90 degrees. This one again bond angle 90 degrees with respect to the horizontal. What about the bond angle between these three? So if I remove the one at the top, one at the bottom, this reminds me of a trigonal shape, right? So trigonal, and we have a pyramid up and a pyramid down. So can we call this as trigonal bipyramidal? Yes, makes sense, right? Oh wait, we've got a 6th one coming in, says, oh my God, this is such a happy family, I want to be a part of it. So what happens? Come on, make place. Okay, boss, no problem. I'll make place for you. There we go. Okay, let me replace these by some other colors so that, it's easier for you to maybe see as well. So we've got here. And there we go at the top and the bottom. I'm not saying that these atoms are different. They could be different, okay? But for the present, I'm just taking simple cases for your level. There we go. A happy family once again. They are so accommodative, right? So we've got 4 in one plane, 1 above, 1 below, right? So 6 of them. It's AB6. What's the bond angle? See here? 90. What will be this? Now if you notice, all the blue ones are in one plane and 4 of them are there. So sum of angles around a point is 360 divided by 4 gives you 90. Right? And how many faces will this figure have? So we'll have 1 face, 2 face, 3 face, 4. And same way over here. So this becomes an octahedron. There is one more. He says, oh my God, I love this family. It's so good. I want to be a part of it. Make way. There's another one coming. So let me put a pink one. Says, I want to enter. Where do I enter? Everything is full. No worries. We are a very accommodative family. We are going to accommodate you. No worries. Come. Fit in here. The 2 at the top and the bottom still remain the same. The ones on the same plane have made way for the 5th one. You look at that, and they've formed 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And all this is in 3-dimensional space, right? So we've got over here 5 in one plane, pentagon. A pyramid above and a pyramid below. So if I join these, sorry, I don't have those animation skills. Otherwise, I would love to show that way. So we've got this over here. But this is something, you as students can also do yourself. That's why I love to teach it this way. So what you've got over here, pentagon, a pyramid, pentagonal, bipyramidal. Right? What about another one coming in? Can we accommodate another one? No, if we need another one, the octet is already complete. The electrons are already filled up. Would you like to learn examples of categories which obey this? By the way, we have not included those brothers, sisters who are not taking part in bond formation. We have not spoken about lone pairs at all. We are only talking about bond pairs, the happy family types, right? Let us now do it with examples. So we've got, first we are taking up the geometry of molecules with only bond pair of electrons. So I've drawn it column wise. In your best interest, you may also like to do it. You draw it, you take colored pencils, draw it. And the best thing, what you can do? Actually, you can take an old calendar or a big sheet and draw it column wise, and you can add an additional column to it where you can mention the hybridization that each one of them is undergoing. So then that way it will be, I know hybridization is not part of this theory, it wasn't there, but you can definitely add, like you can mention that in this case it's sp hybridization, sp2 hybridization, sp3 hybridization. So your notes are actually complete. It's called as the bird's eye view of the topic. So I'm taking the example AB2. AB2 means the central atom is A and the two atoms on the side. So for example, I'm taking the example of BeF2. So Be is the central atom, fluorine and fluorine positioned maximum distance apart from each other. I know you're getting bored because you've already understood this topic. Very good. So the bond angle is 180 degrees. What is this shape called as? Good. It's linear. Go ahead then, draw the structure for AB3. So we've got boron in the center, fluorine, fluorine, fluorine. Now what I'm doing is, you can add as many other molecules that you can come across over here. So you can make these columns bigger as well to suit your study, to suit the curriculum that you are studying. These are some of the examples that I am taking. Yes, so the bond angle is 120 degrees. The shape you see now. Let's draw the shape. So see over here. It's a triangle in one plane. Hence the shape is trigonal planar. Isn't it looking nice and colorful, and I'm enjoying it. In fact, if you ask me, you are able to retain better with colors. So why don't you make a little effort? It'll take a little time, but this topic will become very, very clear. And by the way, it's not necessary that you mention BF3. It can be any molecule. BF3 I've taken only as an example to explain it to you. So you have various other examples. You can list it in that. So we do another one, AB4. For example, you've got methane, carbon tetrachloride, ammonium ion. Be careful about this because we are going to talk about ammonia a little later, or maybe in the next video. I don't want to make this too long. A little later, and you'll see the difference. Now, if you notice over here, yes, it's got a tetrahedral shape where we said that two bonds are aligned. So one bond is towards you and the other is away from you. Right? So this is what we've got is a my tetrahedral shape. Oh, I'm too bad at drawing. Right. So we've got over here tetrahedral shape, or let me put it more appropriately. That's the best I can do for now. Tetrahedral shape, and the bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Let's go on to the next one. So we've got AB5. Can you recall? Yes, we did it in the video. Very correct. So we've got A in the middle and we've got, yes. So we've got in central atom, 3 of them directed at one plane. Bond angle of 120 degrees, right? And there are 2 which are directed above and below the plane of this bond. So let me draw the shape first over here. So this is one plane, and let me remove this and give another color to it. Let's say we put it as green. There we go. And there we go down as well. So you notice over here, now we've got, so this becomes a triangle, right? This is a triangle we've got, and then we join the pyramids. So this becomes one pyramid. This becomes the other pyramid, right? Got it? And that is why this shape is trigonal bipyramidal. What about the bond angles? Good. If you have got the Play-Doh and pencils with you, what is this bond angle that we've got? 120 degrees. And what is this bond angle that we've got? It is 90 degrees. Now, the work for you, 5th, 6th, and would there be a 7th? So AB6 and AB7. I want you to complete it. Draw it yourself. Let me know if you are not able to do. But I'm very sure if you have paid attention, you would be able to do the AB6 yourself. Try it. Pause the video, give it a try yourself. So AB6, again coming back to the central atom. Now how are we going to arrange? Very good, it's octahedral. Perfect, very good. I am very sure that you paid full attention. And we've got the pentagonal bipyramidal shape over here in the case of AB7. So can you draw these 2 shapes for me? Write the examples. Your notes are covered. VSEPR theory is still not over. We are yet to do molecules which have bond pair and lone pair of electrons, right? So we are yet to talk about lone pair repulsion, bond pair repulsion. That means a molecule in which the central atom has lone pair as well. So watch out for video number 2. Take a break. Don't jump to video number 2 right away. Take a break, take a breather, come back to it a little later. See you soon.